So what we are going to do, Hazza, is like a fireside talk without the fire. So it is an honor and a privilege to host you. And thank you, of course, for joining us from Houston. You are the first Emirati astronaut in space and were selected out of 4,022 candidates. That's amazing. Can you please share your personal experience of the selection process? At what stage did you feel that you are probably being accepted to the space program? And what was your family and your friends' reaction to this?
Yes, so first of all, thank you for having me, and I'm really happy to be with you, sharing my journey. And it was really tough, especially in the United Arab Emirates, because it was the first uh, selection to select astronauts in this country, and it was difficult to reach for help because you're trying to catch any astronauts and ask him about his experience, but it was difficult in our country. So the selection itself was really very thrilled. Followed NASA and Roscosmos protocols in selecting astronauts and cosmonauts, and we did the same that NASA's and also Roscosmos do when they select astronauts in terms of doing psychological, medical exams, and also doing interviews to see the personality. And this is the most crucial and most important thing, because when you are selecting astronaut, you are all mostly looking for his personality, because he's gonna go there and work with different people from different countries. So it's really important to know that this guy or this person I can work with in an isolated environment. So after 1 year of all of medical, psychological, and physical tests, we've been selected, and it was really the announcement itself was amazing for me, and I was super happy, super like excited for what's coming next. And from the beginning, I shared the journey with my family, my parents, and my wife and my kids, and they were following me in each step. I was share with them that the medicals that I did, and the new like type of psychological things that I did. So they were like following me all the steps. And we've been selected. It was really amazing what I saw in my kids. They were really happy. I thought they are being selected, not me, but but they were happy, because this is something happened for first time in the United Arab Emirates, and to be selected, it's a big privilege and a big responsibility as well. And thanks God, we made it. We did the first mission, and currently we are here training for future missions.
Well, very good. And there are currently 3 more astronauts, including the first female astronaut from UAE. What is your personal future? And I suspect that it has something to do with your presence in Houston. And will you be assigned on a future mission on behalf of the UAE?
Definitely is the idea from behind this program is to have a sustainable program, to have a program that continued, not only one mission and that's it. No, and the proof is that we are currently here in Johnson Space Center training for future missions, and 4 of us, by the way. So we're gonna be looking forward in future to participating in future missions side by side with different agencies, different astronauts and cosmonauts. And this is the objective, because what we saw from the first mission, the impact in our country and the region was really tremendous. We saw the effect of the mission, and we always reflecting that my mission is something like Apollo flights.
Yeah.
Yes, we felt like that back home, because the pride and the momentum that we saw was big. And by continuing on that track, I think that's gonna also strengthen the UAE position in the space sector for future missions, human space flight in particular. And this is why we are here. If you ask me about myself, I'm really happy to participate again. I'm ready, preparing for future missions. And the objective is to be ready as the main and the backup. So always you have to be really having that mentality. You will be assigned in future.
Yeah, you have my vote for a future flight. You were trained in Russia, in Star City near Moscow, and the training of the astronauts and cosmonauts in Russia are very tough. And now you are experiencing the other culture of space training from the United States. So can you please elaborate a little bit about the differences? Of course, there is a difference between the Soyuz and the Dragon, more than half a century apart in terms of the arrival of the spacecraft. But is the training looks the same in the US like it was in Russia?
So I'm really was really honored to start my training at Star City, and again coming back now here in NASA at NASA Johnson Space Center for training again. So that was a unique experience to watch two different schools in terms of space, human flight, exploration missions, preparation itself, and if you look at the International Space Station. It works currently with two different systems, basically the Russian side and the US OS side also. And that's really a unique mixture. And at the same time, it gives the station itself and the program a unique in terms of capabilities and redundancy in terms of like backup systems. That is different systems. So if you think about it, different systems working in different way, and at the same time they are backing each other. So that's a unique mixture there. And definitely, as you mentioned, it is different schools, but the objective is one is to give different like systems to give us the ability to live and work and operate in a very harsh environment like space.
Okay, you're a fighter pilot, of course, and you got the degree in aeronautics from the Khalifa bin Zayed Air College. Did you thought that being an astronaut is just the next logical step for you, or the expanding the envelope, if you will?
Probably yes. That's what I was thinking about when I started, when I applied to the program itself. I said, okay, I came from aviation background, and probably when I look back at the space history, initially they were selecting pilots. So I feel that this is the perfect like expanding of my expertise and my skills. But the way the system of training here at NASA and also at Russia works is despite your background, they will give you the skills, the attributes to continue and to operate on board the International Space Station. And it's really important when you select astronauts to select them from different background, because diversity in terms of skills and personality, it's gonna give a creativity thinking to solving problems and also to operate together. Because if you just bringing all pilots and working together, they will think same thing. But if you bring scientists, engineers, pilots together, they're gonna come with a creative solution because of the background they have.
Okay. On board the International Space Station, you spent almost 8 full days in space, lacking behind 3 hours or something like that to reach the number 8. There were astronauts from different cultures, different nations. Can you tell us a little bit about it? How it's, of course, you were all astronauts, but did you feel that you, as a representative of the UAE and the first Emirati astronaut, do you think that there are some things that worth sharing with the audience about the different cultures in space?
Definitely, coming from a new country, participating in a human space flight was at the beginning a little bit maybe new for this community. But as we trained together, we knew each other very well. It was really a smooth transition on board the International Space Station. We worked as a one family. It felt like that. We worked together, not just representing each one a country. No, it was more than that. It was like humans working together for one goal: human exploration, for science, and that was the main objective. We were like helping each other, brothers and sisters, together for one common goal, and that's the beauty of space exploration. Despite what was happening here on ground, we are like living there just as a one family for human sake, human exploration, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, Dubai ruler, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, is a great supporter of space endeavors. And for example, you have, of course, your mission and the astronauts' mission in all the Al Amal spacecraft circling at the moment Mars, future missions to other parts of the solar systems, a lot of satellites, and so on. And you have the chance, of course, to sit down with His Highness. Can you tell us a little bit about his vision, or the long range, the long range vision to UAE in space, and just book in your calendar that we might be speaking 100 years from now in the city on Mars. But what are his thoughts for Dubai, for the Emirates in future, let's say, years and decades?
Definitely, yes. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid is a visionary man. Starting from astronaut program to hop probe, going to Mars last year, reached Mars, and also asteroid belts, and within a couple of years, that's all new challenges. And he's always open-minded to new programs, and we are always sharing with him the latest things that happening in space sector, and he's always really excited to hear us, and pushing us, giving us the trust and the means to make it happen. So he always dreaming that one, hopefully in future, we're gonna have a bigger program where maybe different countries participating on for human space flight in future, especially in our region.
Okay. During the International Astronautical Congress held for the first time in an Arab country in Dubai in October 2021, and I was fortunate enough to participate, we heard the personal accounts of a Russian cosmonaut and a US astronaut telling us about their emergency on the way to space. And I saw you at the room with other astronauts just sucking in all the emotions that and they experienced with us. But what are your personal thoughts about the safety of spaceflight? Because we all know that some malfunction can occur. So it's not just a daily, let's say today, at least, it's not like a daily job, go into space. So the thoughts, maybe the worries about the safety of space travel.
Yes, definitely. It comes with a lot of risks, especially riding at the top of the rocket, going to space. From get-go, from the beginning, we understand the risk inherited in this type of jobs, especially during training itself. You may get injured and you may be disqualified from the program itself. during the launch itself, during going to space, there's a lot of risks in this type of job. And as astronauts, as an astronaut, I'm really always uh, looking to the other astronauts and asking them, seeking for help, and also sharing our experience together, because this is really important. Because by sharing experience, we're gonna just we will make sure that if any mistakes happened already, we will avoid it in future. And we really have a very solid program in terms of conducting procedures and safety systems on both Soyuz rocket and also different vehicles like Dragon, Crew Dragon. So we are really trusting the system, and at the same time also mostly always asking how the system's gonna work and if something gonna go wrong, so how we're gonna deal with that. So we have the ability to overcome them and work as a team. This is really important. By living together as astronauts, we build this type of trust between us. So we are trusting each other, conducting the procedures and different type of actions that required in terms of situations like this, which is phenomenal situations. Hopefully, to not happen again in future.
Sure. We are now living in a very interesting time of private spaceflight, not only suborbital, but orbital mission as well. As we just recently saw the Inspiration 4 mission, which was quite unique. Do you think that private spaceflight will increase popularity in the UAE? And if UAE might play any role in future endeavors of private spaceflight, providing that the cost of space of such a flight will decline in the future.
Definitely, we are living in a very exciting times in terms of a human space flight. I would say in terms of civilian, just training for a couple of months and then going to space. And this is really a good opportunity to give it to everyone, and not only the professional like us, astronaut training and then going to space, but giving it to the normal people that who has the courage to go to space and to experience this a unique experience, which is weightlessness, is really important. And the United Arab Emirates definitely going to be participating in this in future. But currently we are focusing more on astronaut programs, especially human space flight. And that's our aim to build our core of astronauts. So in the future, we can transfer this knowledge to our region.
So can you give any advice to the young audience that might hear us if they want to be an astronaut? What should they do?
It's really difficult. So you have to be passionate. And if you have a goal, especially in space sector, if you want to be an astronaut, first of all, do something that you love, something that you like, passionate about. This is the important thing. And from there, build up on it your skills, your physical skills also, and your mental skills. And I would say the next 10 years, very exciting years. Gonna be a lot of human space flights, a lot of opportunity. The accessibility to space is gonna be really tremendous, and be ready.
Yeah, okay. We just heard that the Israeli government approved the signature of the Israeli Space Agency on the Artemis Accord. And of course, you were one step ahead of us and you are part of the Artemis Accords. So do you see in the future any chance, and this is a tricky question, any chance of an Emirati astronaut on a mission to the moon in the framework of the Artemis?
Here in the United Arab Emirates, we are really ambitious people. We are looking forward to participate in human space flight, despite it's going to the low Earth orbit or beyond that, going to the moon. So if you notice behind me, this is the first picture took by Apollo 8.
Yeah.
And I put it there. So dreaming in future. I reached the stars. No, my next dream is to go to the moon, and nothing is impossible. And we are always looking forward. If there is international efforts, we're gonna part of it definitely. And just you have to wait for the news.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking on international cooperation and collaboration in space, any chance of future missions joining forces with other spacefaring nations? You were, of course, traveling to space with Russia, and the future astronauts will fly with American spacecraft. So, but we can estimate that at least China is capable of sending people into space, and India will be the next one in space. So are you prepared to a real international space exploration, maybe exploitation in the future with other countries apart from the US and Russia?
The United Arab Emirates having a lot of very good, solid relationship with everyone, and we are always looking to opportunities with different countries. We are believing that with tolerance and collaboration and cooperation with different countries, we can advance and we can go forward. So nothing is impossible. Probably in future, we will look at that. But currently, we are focusing on training here at NASA, and we have a really very good relationship with China also. So and I think is currently working on in that direction.
Yeah, I can tell you when I was in your country recently, I saw the Rashid lunar rover, and you just released to the world all the scientific data from Mars and so on. So I can expect the unexpected from the people in the UAE. It was really a privilege and an honor to speaking to you today. So I would say shukran jazira. And inshallah, we'll have the chance to get you on a flight, not to space, but much more closer to your country. And we will more than happy to have you as a guest in the future Ilan Ramon Space Conference. So again, thank you and all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.